I am currently in a Zoom session one-on-one between the instructor and a student. Right now I have it so that you can see both ends, so I can show you how to facilitate using some of the Math Learning Center apps with your student in a way that we can share our screens. Right now you'll see I have a screen sharing on with my students so they can see the Math Learning Center page. There's a new feature in these great virtual manipulatives that supports sharing. This allows me to set up a problem with the student and to push it to them for them to interact with. So I can go down, let's look at the Number Pieces app. That's a pretty common one when we use base 10 blocks. So I'm going to open the web app. And right now you can see on the student screen that they can see what I'm doing because I'm sharing my screen with them. I'm going to switch over. I like to use these colorful versions. It's a simplified version of the base 10 blocks. I like that it gives one other visual example between our ones, our tens, and our hundreds. They're different colors. So let's say I want to set up a problem for the student. I can use the writing feature, and let's say I want to set up a problem of 41 minus 37. Because we are working on subtraction with regrouping, and the base 10 blocks are going to help us model what it means to regroup. So maybe together we set up the problem, I ask the students some questions, and they help me set up the problem before I push it to them for them to try to solve. So I'm going to turn off the writing tool, and let's model it together. I have 4 tens and 1 1, so I can start off by modeling that. And you'll notice they're kind of big when you first use them. There is a zoom out tool to make them a little bit smaller. So 1, 2, 3, 4 tens, or 40, and 1, 1. So I have 41. And I want to talk to the student about what subtraction means, how we're going to take away, in this case, 37. And maybe I want to see what the student knows to begin with. So I want them to be able to interact with this. But right now, on the student end of it, the student is only seeing my screen. They're not actually interacting with these. In Zoom, we can use the chat feature to share this with them. So I am going to go down to this share button in the bottom, and I'm going to click that, and it's going to populate a link that I can copy and paste into the chat for my students. So if you don't see your chat, if you didn't have it open, if you click those 3 dots where it says More, I can open that chat and I can paste it in here. So I'm going to paste that in there, and it's going to go in the chat on my student end. So my student is going to open the chat and click that link. Now at this point, the student is taken to a website. They're out of Zoom. Zoom is still running in the background, but they've been opened a new tab, and now they can actually interact with these base 10 blocks over here. Okay. They can show me that work, but at this point, I can't actually see what they're doing on the teacher end over here. We have a few options. We can either just let the student work on their own and then have them hit the share button back to you, get the code and send it to you so you can check their work. Or you can actually just ask the student to share their screen with you. It's a good practice using that feature of Zoom. Keep in mind, as the instructor, you need to make sure you have allowed your participants to share. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment here, and I want to show you if your student is unable to share their screen, if you stop sharing your screen, you'll see where it says this green share screen, there's an up caret that you can push. And this gets you to the advanced sharing options. And when you click the advanced sharing options, you'll see who can share. I think the default for us is that it's on only the host can share. So if you're finding your student is unable to share their screen with you, you need to switch this over to say all participants. And once you've closed out of that, your student will be able to share their screen with you. So I'm going to go ahead and go back over here to the student screen, and I'm going to have the student click back on Zoom and share their screen. Now they can choose a few options here. I would recommend they choose just this Google Chrome instead of their whole desktop. That will share with you exactly what they're doing in Google Chrome or whatever web browser you're using. Now the student is back in Google Chrome. They can be working on solving this problem, and on the teacher end of it, I can see exactly what the student is doing on my end. So there is a little bit of back and forth. we need to have an understanding of the share screen feature and the chat feature, but it is a way I can push problems to students. The other way to do this is if you don't want to use a third-party app like these Math Learning Center base 10 blocks, and instead you want to just draw representations, we can use the whiteboard, or you can make some movable pieces on a shared Google slide if you want to do that. But then you would have to create all the manipulatives yourself. This is a way that if you just know the functionality of both chat and share screen, and you teach your student how to use those, you can now push problems back and forth to each other.